Ayrton Senna. Formula One racing incident took place on the 1st of May 1994 during the San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit, where Senna, driving for Williams Racing, started from pole position on a weekend already filled with tension after Rubens Barrichello's Friday crash and Roland Ratzenberger's fatal Saturday accident. Yet Senna still chose to race. At the start, he maintained the lead and pushed hard for the first laps, but on lap 7, while entering the high-speed Tamburello corner, his car suddenly went straight instead of turning, leaving the track at high speed and hitting the concrete wall, after which marshals rushed to the scene. The race was red-flagged. FIA medical officials provided immediate treatment, and he was airlifted to the hospital where doctors confirmed he could not be saved. The FIA then launched a full investigation focusing on the modified steering column, suspension behavior, telemetry data, and track safety, and this single tragedy led Formula One to introduce major safety reforms. Benny Kid Parrott's tragic boxing incident took place on March 24, 1962, at Madison Square Garden in New York City during his welterweight title fight against his longtime rival Emil Griffith. And things escalated further after the weigh-in, where Parrott provoked Griffith with insulting words, setting the stage for a highly emotional and dangerous contest. At the start of the fight, Parrott entered the ring with his usual defensive, counter-punching style, while Griffith appeared noticeably aggressive and determined. In the early rounds, both men exchanged strong punches, but as the match progressed, Parrott's fatigue, damage, and slower reactions became increasingly visible. Then came the moment that changed boxing history. Round 12. Griffith trapped Parrott in the corner, and within seconds, unleashed a rapid and relentless combination of more than 24 punches, landing repeatedly as Parrott remained slumped against the ropes, barely able to defend himself. The referee intervened too late. By then, Parrott had already collapsed unconscious. Medical personnel rushed into the ring immediately. The fight was halted, and Parrott was carried out on a stretcher. At the hospital, doctors discovered severe brain injuries, and despite emergency surgery and intensive treatment, he could not be saved, passing away 10 days later on April 3, 1962. This single tragedy sparked a massive debate about the safety of boxing, criticizing referee decision-making, the responsibility to stop fights earlier, the brutality shown on live television, and the overall medical protections for fighters. As a result, the sport introduced major safety reforms including stricter referee training. Mark-Vivien Foe was a professional footballer from Cameroon. Foe was an important midfielder for the Cameroon national team and was respected by teammates and opponents alike. On June 26, 2003, during the FIFA Confederations Cup semi-final match between Cameroon and Colombia in Lyon, France, a tragic incident occurred. In the second half of the match, Mark-Vivien Foe suddenly collapsed on the pitch near the center circle. There was no collision with another player, and the fall shocked everyone watching in the stadium and around the world. The medical team rushed onto the field immediately and began emergency treatment, including CPR, in an attempt to revive him. Foe was quickly taken to the hospital, where doctors continued life-saving efforts. Sadly, despite all attempts, Mark-Vivien Foe was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Later medical reports confirmed that he died due to hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a previously undiagnosed heart condition. Owen Hart was a well-known WWE superstar who had won multiple championships during his wrestling career. He was highly respected for his in-ring skills, agility, and entertaining personality. He was also the younger brother of Bret the Hitman Hart, who at that time was one of the biggest faces of WWE and a global wrestling icon. On May 23, 1999, during the WWE pay-per-view event Over the Edge in Kansas City, Owen Hart was scheduled to make a special entrance as part of an entertainment stunt. For this entrance, he was portraying a superhero-style character and was dressed in a blue superhero costume and mask. The plan was for Owen Hart to be lowered into the wrestling ring from approximately 70 feet above using a rope and harness system, which was meant to create a dramatic and memorable moment for the audience. Unfortunately, during the descent, the quick-release mechanism on the rope activated prematurely. As a result, Owen Hart lost support and fell nearly 70 feet straight into the ring. The fall was sudden and unexpected, leaving the audience in shock. At first, some fans believed it was part of the storyline, but it quickly became clear that this was a serious, real-life accident. The WWE medical team rushed to the ring immediately and provided emergency assistance. Owen Hart was then transported to the hospital as quickly as possible. Despite the efforts of the medical staff, he had suffered severe internal injuries and extensive organ damage due to the impact of the fall. Tragically, Owen Hart was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. His death was one of the most heartbreaking moments in professional wrestling history. Owen Hart is remembered not only for his achievements in WWE, but also for his talent, humility, and the legacy he left behind in the wrestling world.